McCann's having a laugh with the fourth official as they go up the tunnel, and he's probably just checking that he's not going to get reported to the SFA, that there's no a touchline ban coming up from me. No, Neil can get pretty passionate, and then there's a beautiful moment where Billy Dodds and Cyril Dessers have an embrace and are smiling, beaming at each other like two long lost brothers, two long lost best mates, and they are united by the fact that they have both scored against Celtic at Parkhead. They both scored on big European nights for Rangers at Ibrox. They've both done the dirty on Belgium, if you like, and a bit like myself, the only thing these two guys love more than a sausage roll is scoring goals for Rangers, and they go up the tunnel together. You can be sure they're going up one after the other, the tunnel at Rugby Park. There's no way they're going up that side by side, but Barry he'd taken his bow. He took his bow at the away end, pounded his chest. Barry shook hands with all of his players, but it was dour. It wasn't truncated. It wasn't very smiley, but it was perfunctory and barely a word for anybody. Just a wee touch on the shoulder for the odd player. He's keeping his distance. He was in the blazer. His mates are in the tracksuits. Character, Devo. Character. I'm the Rangers manager. And if you're going to be in the gantry, I don't care if you are the previous interim manager of Rangers, Steve Davis, if you are my esteemed and beloved former teammate. And the first thing I've said when I got up here is to compliment how great a player you were. I'm the Rangers manager, and you are asking me a question on live television, and I am ready for it. Before Steve Davis had even got the question out, what's your biggest takeaway from tonight's Barry character, Devo? It's character. He's looking him in the eye. He's serious. He's ready with it because he's living it. He's totally living it already. Barry, 26th minute of that game tonight. 26th minute of the game. Rangers are 2-0 down. And that's exactly what was expected, because Barry Ferguson, let's not kid ourselves on, this is not the first time Barry Ferguson has been caretaker manager of Rangers. He was the de facto player caretaker manager in January 2007 when we went to East End Park in the Scottish Cup, the game after Paul Le Guen gets sacked. He got Paul Le Guen sacked, same as Chris Boydie, his mate, up in the gantry, grinning away tonight. I made this happen. I've been lobbying against Clermont for months on end in my little spot here on live television. Here I am back at my alma mater, Rugby Park. What a moment of triumph for me. I've got Barry, my mate, into this job. And it was Boydie doing the six symbol to the cameras after scoring the penalty at Fir Park back in January 2007 when Barry had been dropped, had been sacked by Paul Le Guen. That was what swung it, wasn't it? That's what swung it. That's made David Murray and the Rangers support decide they were going to back Barry Ferguson instead of Paul Le Guen, and I hated it because I wanted the sophistication, and I'm a total snob, I'm a self-hater. I thought anything for the content. Like Philip Clement, you can get us through a group stage of European football. It was the UEFA Cup. In Paul Le Guen's case, it's the Europa League now, same competition, just a bigger, longer group stage now. And not Philip Clement, we're in the next stage of Europe. I mean, we beat Nice by 4-1. Back then, we went over to Livorno, we were first ever win on Italian soil against Italians. Then this, Clement is the guy who gave us our first ever win in Spanish soil against Spanish opposition in European competition, and we get rid of them because they can't beat the Celtic, they can't win the league title. We win so many league titles. I like to see something different. I like to see something in Europe. I can't be bothered with all this nonsense, but that was me raging. I was up at East End Park that day in January 2007 in the Scottish Cup. I'd been at Fir Park for that game. I used to go home and away in those days, and I understand it was a sunny day. I'm sure it was early as well. It was live on television. Dunfermline hadn't won a game at home all season. They were on their way down, and it was Ian Durrant. He was in the form. He was the SFA as far as they were concerned. He was our interim manager. He was the manager. He was taking the team that day. But we knew it was Boydie. It was Boydie, and it was Barry. Boydie was assistant de facto interim caretaker manager in that game, and Barry was de facto caretaker manager in that game. And we were 3-0 down at half time, and I thought, hell Menji, it was embarrassing. The fella Burchell, who is actually related to Charlie Burchell, Steve Burchell, he's actually related to Charlie Burchell for Simple Minds, isn't he? Anyway, he scored at least one goal, ex-Celtic man, just to rub it right in. They were 3-0 up against us at half-time, and that day it was a fight back, wasn't it? It was a fight back that day as well, but it was only 2 goals we brought back in the second half that day, and we were out the Scottish Cup, total humiliation. So here we are again, Barry Ferguson's the manager. We're 2-0 down, 26th minute, and here's James Tavernier. our esteemed captain. The guy has been captain of Rangers for 8 years now or something like that. Was it game number 600 for him as a professional tonight? Crocker was rabbiting on about something at the beginning. Uh, he's played a bit of football. Let's put it that way. The man has played a bit of football. It's the main stand side of the park, and it's a shy to Rangers. Or a throw in, as you wokes would call it, you Antifa, you the politically correct. Not the woke mind virus sufferers would call it a throw in, but it's a shy for me. Down towards the Kilmarnock corner flag. We're deep in their half. We're attacking them. I don't know who he's trying to find. Who's he looking for? The lesser spotted Cyril Dessers, the ailing Václav Cherny, the irrational Igaman, whoever he's trying to find with that ball. Tav, he splices a throw in. What was it? He dropped a throw in. He's holding the ball above his head, and he put his hands across each other without letting go of the ball, and the ball just got trickled like an egg being smacked, not by Nigel Benn's son on Chris Eubank's son in that standoff, but just by a cracked egg on the head, just run down the front of him, and it's like, that's a foul shy. That's a foul throw, and sure enough, the referee has to give the ball. That's an absolute disastrous moment. How much lower can this thing get? Rangers won 4-2 and played some fantastic football, and that's the first time we've scored 4 goals on the bounce at Rugby Park since. How you doing, folks? This is your Fat Egg post Rangers are doing man marking at corners now reaction pod, coming to you in association with Gersnet. Check out Gersnet every Friday 9 p.m, every Sunday 9:30 p.m, live on YouTube. I'm coming to you in association with Gersnet and also with Hamilton Tarmac. Hamilton Tarmac, is there a more apt sponsor for a dugout hosting the managerial debut at Rangers of a Hamilton-born Rangers legend who spent 28 minutes watching his team get steamrolled. Hamilton Tarmac. He's born in Hamilton. The team get steamrolled for the rest of the game. He oversees Rangers pave a new path. They pave a new path for straight goals scored at Rugby Park since, I reckon, Walter Smith's Gers got 5 straight goals on the last day of the 2010-2011 season, which is probably the single best domestic performance I have ever seen from a Rangers team in a significant match, in a big match where we needed to win the game. We're 3-0 up after like 7.5 minutes. And Walter Smith made his debut at Rugby Park as a professional footballer, a senior professional footballer. He played in the league, in the Scottish League, his first ever game, I think 1968, 69-ish, at Rugby Park, Kilmarnock for Dundee United, and Dundee United lost 4-0. They get beat 4-0. And his last ever game as a manager, just involved with senior football in a professional capacity, was winning by 4 goals at Rugby Park in that Rangers team that won 5-1 in the last day of the 2010-2011 season. Walter's last game in charge of Rangers, and we clinched the title from Celtic that day. I think it's quite unbelievable that this is the first time, we've gone back, we've gone down at Rugby Park and scored 4 straight goals. I'm sure it's the first time we've scored 4 goals since then, and I know we had that game in the League Cup under Gerrard's first visit to Rugby Park, and we did score 4 goals that day, but one of them was incorrectly disallowed, and it was 4 goals by Alfredo Morelos. He was allowed 3 of them, and it was a perfect hat-trick, but there was another one he scored that day. I can't remember the circumstances, but I know that the VAR wasn't in effect at that point, but he he should have had the 4 goals. It was proven afterwards in the highlights, the replays, that he should have had the other goal allowed. But this is Rangers, it's the first time since the traumas of 2012 that we've gone to Rugby Park, such a symbol of those traumas, such a symbol of a kind of stuttering comeback that's still ongoing as far as I'm concerned, since the traumas of 2012, since getting into the lower leagues. And it's absolutely phenomenal to win there. But there is a pathos. Yeah, Bears, we do sentimentality, Rangers supporters, and there's a kind of symbolism, and there's a rip-roaring comeback win to chase those Blues away, not just since 2012, but since Saturday, since 2 Sundays ago. it's not just the kind of Hummel striped blue and white of Kelly blues that I'm talking about. Red detailing, it's quite nice actually. It's quite a kind of Scandi staunch kit that Kelly had on tonight. Well, the top anyway. But I'm talking about the depression around our lovely Teds in royal blue of the last kind of few weeks, and at Kelly, it's been for over a decade. We've having a real nightmare of a time of it. What a start! What a start for Barry. My name is Alec Anderson. Oh, Barry, 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 Barry Ferguson. Oh, Kelly 2 up. Rangers, 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 Rangers scored 4 straight. Oh, Barry, Barry, I'm here to talk to you about Rangers' sensational 4-2 win, 4-2 comeback win against Kilmarnock at Rugby Park in the SPFL Premiership this Wednesday evening, which means Barry Ferguson's term as official interim manager of Rangers to the end of the season gets off to the best possible start shortly after us all thinking it was getting off to an absolute nightmare start. That was we need to chill. I mean, this has been what this year, the calendar year 2025. We're just coming up to the end of the second month, and we have been through stuff that I mean, good stuff and bad stuff. It's just all over the place that most clubs don't go through in the space of 2 decades. But we could have done a wee easier game perhaps to get through, but no, it's just that's fine. It just seems to suit the way things are going just now. It was like Philip Clement's Rangers were kind of hawked up and spat. It's like the team were saying, this is what Clement's done to us for the first half hour of the game, and it was kind of gobbed out onto the park, and nobody wanted to look at it. It's very unpleasant. But for the next hour and a bit, we gradually rubbed it out the way and just became what Barry Ferguson's Rangers wanted to be. And the symbolism of Tav with that shy. Tav couldn't even take a throw in, a full throw from our captain, a man deep into his 30s that's been playing football since he was a child, and he couldn't. He took a throw in like a child, like a primary one kids. The ball's too heavy, and like some of the parents would be like, don't laugh, that's no fair. They're just learning to play the game. I thought that was the greatest symbol of the way things were going, and I wasn't angry at Barry at all, not anymore. I've discussed this over the past few days. I was worried for him. I was deeply worried for him, and it looked like it could be 5, it looked like it could be 6 we're going to get beat by. But it started off, it's a night that started off quite well in terms of the symbolism, the tifo in the Chadwick or the Moffat stand. I've been in both, but I can never remember what one's called. It's a while since I've been to Rugby Park. It was simple, it was basic, but it was spectacular with a wee kind of classy hint of red at the top of the rampant lion, the red lion on the blue background and the blue and white. And I thought, that's like Barry's jersey. Barry's jersey, that's class there, but it's going to be done quite simply, quite basically. Barry said that there was also Watkins and Wales up front for Kilmarnock, and I thought, Watkins and Wales. Watkins is Welsh, so that's quite funny. Marley Watkins is Welsh, but the guy called Wales, was he English, Scottish? I can't remember, but he's no Welsh. Anyway, I thought that's quite funny. Then there was the Hamilton tarmac thing, which we've already discussed, and of course, Robin kept fouling right. Robin proper for us kept fouling right. And I started to get worried it was going to be a penalty. And I remember having a wee laugh in the first minute or so. Just there was a bit of grappling going on. I thought, this is good. We're starting to. We learned the physical side of things. Barry and Neil McCann and that and Dodgy. Like, you've got to have the fight with Kilmarnock. You've got to win the battle first. That's just the thing Clement would say. But I thought that was quite good. But I started thinking to myself, I know Robin proper, and he's up against this guy right. And if he keeps wrestling with him in the box, it's going to be a penalty. It's Robin Wright Penn. Remember, she's the actress Robin Wright Penn. She played the First Lady. The House of Cards. I know real bad things have happened to Kevin Spacey since then, but it's just seen that long ago. House of Cards, when they thought the President of the United States was going to have to do really dark and surreptitious and hide when he was doing kind of evil, murderous stuff. But no, actually, in real life, he's boasting about it. The actual real President of the United States, I don't think it's Robin Wright Penn that's playing Melania, but You know, you think he had all these dodgy guys, didn't he? Kevin Spacey, and Kevin Spacey is dodgy with guys. That's another thing that's been proven since then. But that character, the president in the House of Cards, he was having to, get in dodgy characters, shadowy characters in the background too. Weren't appointed, weren't elected officials and all that, but they were hiding away. Didn't want him to know about them because they were doing these dodgy things. Whereas you just get Elon Musk into the Oval Office. He's gone up on stage with a chainsaw boasting about the fact that he's going to slash funding for Wayne's with cancer, for servicemen, for people that are trying to keep America safe. No, the helicopters are crashing in the sky and all that because he's cutting the jobs of the ground staff and what have you, but and just to keep it for himself and other billionaires. But yeah, that's great. That's what we want. He's doing it openly. It's really strange times. But Robin Wright Penn, that made me. When that made me realise we were actually marking. We were marking. We were doing more marking at corners and stuff like that. Had we gone 4-4-2? I had no idea. I can't see it right on the television. I could never see the whole of the pitch to see how we were actually playing. But Barry had been talking about a tweak. He was going to make tweaks. It's the same starting 11 as played against St Mirren at the weekend. I thought, you've made a tweak, all right. You have made changes, Barry, like you were promising. We're going to have to wait till 8 o'clock. He was promising he'd make changes in his pre-match pressers in Auchenhowie yesterday afternoon, and then in the tunnel at Rugby Park in East Ayrshire tonight. He said we're going to tweak things. We're going to make changes, but you have to wait till 8 o'clock to see exactly what those changes are. And from what I could see, the only change was that it took us 70 minutes to go 2-0 down to St Mirren on Saturday with that same starting 11, whereas it only took us 14 minutes to go 2-0 down with that starting 11 tonight. Was Insiala playing on the right-hand side, the two centre halves on Saturday against St Mirren? I can't remember. It felt as if he was, even though he was all over the place. So he get moved to the left-hand side tonight, did he? It was the same position, like he's left-footed, so that was a tweak that was going to. Did we go 4-4-2? It seemed like Egaman was just sitting as playing as 10. It seemed like the same thing. It wasn't working at all. They're more than just a physical team, Kilmarnock, said Barry, pre-match again yesterday at Auchenhowie and tonight in the tunnel in Ayrshire. Yet we seem to have either ignored their physicality or overthought it. I mean, what the fuck else did you think Derek McInnes's Kilmarnock would do to Insiala and Proper after what St Mirren did to Clinton on Saturday and what St Mirren have been doing to Proper all season? Neil McCann commentates on this shit for Sky, and then he analyses it to death for the BBC. Him and Ferguson and Dodds and McGregor and Sharai are just gaslighting. There's a paper over the cracks. That's what's happening here. I was thinking to myself in the first. I wasn't thinking that at all. I was just thinking, Barry, this has gone so wrong. We were like kind of wee boys who'd only just learned about the grappling aspect of man marking. Like, we're having great fun. We're not going to let them go in the box. And to be honest, there was a bit where Lions and Insiala were having a right proper grapple in the box at a corner for Kilmarnock. And the referee had to have a word with them. And I thought, this is good. We've stepped up a gear. We've learned that they've been coached in this kind of 90 minutes that Barry and his staff had with the players on the grass, as he kept referring to. They've been told you're going to have to get into a war here, and the players are up for it. They're not. Insiala's no letting Lions go at all. And then I suddenly realised that this was actually the fourth Kilmarnock corner. I mean, we'd get one and at that point, and Egaman had managed a hitch kick on the Kilmarnock goal, but this was the fourth Kilmarnock corner in the 11th minute, and I was more worried about Robin grappling right for the Pens, but I shouldn't have bothered because Robin just went in his arse, as he did when we lost the first goal of the game at Tannadice, and a 2-goal win for us at Tannadice. We won by 2 goals, should I say. We beat Dundee United 3-1 up there relatively recently, and the first goal we lost somehow Proper just ends up on the deck, kind of sliding about and that, and he seemed to trip himself up tonight, just leaving it completely open. The corner gets floated in from our right hand side, and it goes right over to the back post, and where Proper should have been was just a big open tunnel, archway, whatever, for Wright to run in the big Kilmarnock centre half and just nod it straight past into an empty net almost. It was so close. It was horrendous, and it continued to get horrendous. We looked really dodgy at the back. But the 14th minute, it was just 3 minutes later, Kilmarnock kind of hooked it up from next to the dugout kind of area, and again the main stand side of the park. They just kind of hooked it up. Somebody gets a head, a Kilmarnock player gets a kind of flick on it. It was typical Rugby Park, bouncing about all over the place, physical hoofball, just try and turn the centre half shite, but totally effective. You go to Kilmarnock making the best of the resources by constantly doing this to great effect. Insiala and Raskin were kind of giving each other hospital passes. At this point, Raskin had his back to his own goal, was just outside the box, so he gets robbed by Lyons on the blind. Insiala's totally off balance by this point. Lyons just takes it to the very edge of the 18-yard box, but with a kind of unimpeded sight of goal, and Butland having no time to kind of get out and try and shut things down. It's a smashing shot and all that, but he's a professional footballer with an attacking edge, should be able to put it into the far corner of the net, as he did when there's absolutely nobody trying to get in his way. It was going to pot. It really was going to pieces. And I thought this is we can't sack Barry. I had thought about this. I was horrified when Barry Ferguson was appointed as interim manager, but as I said before, I was horrified for Barry, and I was talking about the fact that was mixed up with it feels like my childhood, but I was in my 40s at the time, my late 30s. My fallouts with Barry are totally one-sided. He had no idea I was falling out with him. And as I was saying in the preview pod, it came from a place of love, or love betrayed as it felt at the time. A bit overly intense in my reactions to what was going on under Paul Le Guen with Barry Ferguson. And eventually, Walter Smith had to drop Barry as well. But especially after that tonight, I was just worried for him. Really, I was worried when he was appointed. I was worried it was going to get destroyed. His reputation would be destroyed. He'd be ridiculed, etc. But he had a good team behind him. That made me feel better. And then I felt even more good about it when I saw him in his press conferences. He was obviously up for it. The pre-match presser yesterday, he was kind of in the zone. He's quite professional. And I'm going to end up quoting Withnail and I. I don't know if you know Withnail and I, total student film. Anyway, Withnail and I, Uncle Monty. I'm not gay enough or posh enough to be Uncle Monty, but I'm certainly fat enough and eccentric enough to be Uncle Monty. And there's this scene where he just says to Marwood, I'm Paul McGann playing Marwood, the eye of Withnail and I. I'm preparing myself to forgive you. It comes, I think we'll release you from the legume, and transfer your talents to the meats. But I'm preparing myself to forgive you, Barry. I'd already forgiven you, mate, but I'm definitely preparing myself to forgive you after tonight. Barry made zero tweaks to that team tonight, that first 11. Mind games, maybe mind games against that team, against that Rangers team themselves, let them, face up to what they were under Clement. But Barry gave this team its head. He let it have the chance to say it was Clement, not us, that made us so bad. And he gave Derek McInnes the respect and a 2-goal lead. Then he took charge, Barry, and he showed the only thing he respects is Rangers and winning. Listen, as Barry would say, listen, it could all go tits up from on Saturday. We could end up getting destroyed at Parkhead. We could end up getting leathered in Istanbul. But tonight, I just, it made me kind of think about, understand and indulge something that Chris Boyd had said pre-match in that gantry at Rugby Park about coaching ability when it comes to better players. And admit Boyd was being serious. I was talking about it last night in the preview pod, and I was kind of joking, just saying how we're worried because he's only coached at Alloa and Barry's only been a manager at Alloa Athletic, Blackpool, Clyde and Kelty Hearts. That's not really the kind of level we're looking for in a Rangers manager. And I made a joke about, Zinedine Zidane, and I've seen the two of them scoring at Hampden. I've seen Barry scoring a cracking goal at Hampden in a cup final, and I actually saw him scoring the League Cup final from a penalty about a month before Zinedine Zidane. I was in the same spot in the Rangers end at Hampden watching Zidane score that amazing goal. Which I think is a bit overhyped. I like a good team goal against Bayer Leverkusen, the Champions League final. They both scored the goals at Hampden, him and Zidane. So Zidane had only taken charge of the Real Madrid reserves, the B team, Castile, whatever. And he'd only been there for 2 years. He gets the Real Madrid job, the biggest job in world football, and wins 3 successive Champions Leagues. The only manager ever to do that. That's my wee joke. But Boydie kind of put it a bit better tonight when he was saying it's the players. The thing with Barry Ferguson, and you can see, the dour face, the sour face was out in force tonight. It's no about Barry. It's about winning. It consumes him, and he's back in his own. He still had a little bit of the ambassador about him. when he gets the job on Monday and he's talking about it on Rangers TV and Monday night. Oh, just chat. It's been a bit hectic tonight. He kept talking tonight about how hectic it was, but he was talking about tonight in respect of I've not had a chance to properly coach the players because I took over at such short notice before this game tonight. Whereas on Monday night he was still talking about it as it's been a bit mad for me, I couldn't get much sleep and all that. Look at my eyes and this kind of thing. And a bit nice and cheery, but more focused at the pre-match presser yesterday with the actual press corps in front of him. And then tonight it's just that's him. He's back in his own. Rangers have got to win. Rangers have got. I'm just about Rangers completely consumed, and that's why he's got no patience. That's why, as a player, and we saw him doing it. That's how he undermined Le Guin. He was just slaughtering his teammates when they weren't performing correctly. But his team, during Le Guin's reign, but these teammates were doing what Le Guin had told them to do. He's making a big show of them and stuff like that. Barry's like berating them on the park. The very thing that happened to him under Amaru. So anyway, and you could see that's it. Boyd saying tonight. Barry might not have been a good coach because he doesn't know how to coach players that are less talented than him. Now, the players that he's got in charge of him just now, and Boyd is like, the players he's in charge of now, he said, aren't as good as Barry, but aren't as good players as Barry was, but they're a lot closer to his level of ability. So maybe he can get through to them. Maybe he can communicate to them. And I thought maybe there's something in that. Maybe he's just one of these guys. It's all about Rangers for Barry, and decent Rangers players. He can get the message over to them. He's in the Willie Waddle raincoat at the place where Willie Waddle won the title. Willie Waddle never won the league with Rangers, but he won it. He won a European trophy with Rangers. You might have heard that, Willie Waddle. But he was a phenomenal manager. His record at Kilmarnock's quite amazing. Willie Waddle, apart from winning the league, the number of cup finals and semi-finals, the number of times he was second in the league as Kilmarnock manager. Willie Waddle's it's ridiculously impressive. Best manager they've ever had, I think. So, but it's quite appropriate. There was Barry there with the Hamilton tarmac behind him, and he's got the Willie Waddle raincoat on, and it's the cuffs. Now, suddenly the sleeve tattoo is just poking through. He's looking every inch of the Rangers manager, and in 30 minutes, in the 30-minute mark, he makes that substitution. It had been teed up for a couple of minutes. It was still going wrong for Inciala. It was still going wrong for Proper. Our defence was a nightmare. We couldn't get on the ball at all. Kilmarnock were rolling right over the top of us consistently. You thought he's just been totally outmatched and outfought by the experience of Derek McInnes. But it was like we're hearing that Inciala's going to get subbed off, and it's a hell of a thing. It's a hell of a shout. It might seem simple at the time. It's pretty obvious somebody's got to get taken off. I've got to change something. But it's your first job as manager of a massive, one of the biggest clubs in the world, and so many people, myself included, don't have the faith that you're going to be able to do it correctly. And you've got to make this shout. You're 2-0 down. Now, Barry was playing in a game where we had to take off, where Dick Advocaat had to take off Fernando Rickson at Parkhead because he was getting destroyed by Bobby Petter. It was just unbelievable. That's what a tribute that is to Martin O'Neill. Bobby Petter, who was a joke coming to Ibrox for Celtic in just the previous season. But Barry was there, he was played in that game, and Dick Advocaat was a vastly experienced manager and had won a treble and a double with Rangers the previous seasons, and it was still a massive shout, and it was obvious Fernando Rickson had to go. It was he'd just started as a Rangers player and he wasn't able to handle it at all, but we still get beat 6-2, and it was one of those moments that actually made it worse in many ways. Maybe we'd have lost more goals if we hadn't got rid of Fernando Rickson that day, but it was just like, what a car crash. That was... Barry never thought for a second tonight about his own reputation. It was, no, this has got to get changed. And I didn't have a lot of faith in it either, but he takes Inciala off. There've been more wobbles from him, letting Kilmarnock players through on goal. And but to be honest, it could have been anyone. It could have been any one of our two centre halves that get subbed because Proper was all over the place as well. But he takes Inciala off, and Inciala, young Clinton, goes up to shake hands with Barry. And Barry's like, oh, it's like he doesn't want to. He's almost like, you should be ashamed because you've been pish. He wants to do that. It's just, I think he's also just so focused in the game that he's not interested in niceties of that. He's definitely trying to keep a distance from the players, more authoritarian, giving it a bit of the Walter Smith stuff, I think. And he would know about the authoritarianism of Walter Smith, how he dealt with people who weren't up to scratch. But he brings on Ridvan Yilmaz. He puts James Tavernier into centre half, the role Tav played at Old Trafford, amongst other places. Kind of emergency right-sided centre half. So Robin Proper goes to left-sided centre half, and Ridvan Yilmaz comes on and he puts him a left back. He puts him at right back, something Yilmaz has done in emergency circumstances this season before as well, under Philippe Clement. And Ridvan's balls, well, hey, Ridvan's balls are just hanging out there and playing for everybody to see that they're brilliant. You know, the balls that he was dangling from. He's getting onto his left foot. He's pushing up the right hand side and he's cutting in so he can get on his left foot, and it leads to 2 goals during this game for Rangers. But it just turned the momentum of the entire game. That was just got us on the front foot. Probably gave us a bit more confidence generally throughout the whole team. But it was like 33rd minute, Igaman, just genius. He drives into the box, a 1-2 with Cherny. He gives it to Dessers, who misses it. It's kind of blocked from about 3 yards out. It's a cutback from Igaman, who kind of goes towards the byline. And Dessers, it gets blocked by a Kilmarnock defender. Looks like he's trying to claim for kind of handball. Could be a penalty. But none of that. And then the 35th minute, it's a goal. It's Ridvan kind of cuts across towards Tav at centre half. Then he just this lovely left-footed ball up to Igaman, who's practically in the halfway line, back to goal, and he takes it, controls the ball, and takes a whack. Great refereeing by Don Robertson to play advantage as Igaman lays it off to Diomande, bit quiet up to that point, but everybody was. Lovely ball, straight through to Cherny, and Cherny's through on goal. Blatantly onside, and it's a bit like his finish at Tynecastle a week past on Sunday. Just the left foot into the far corner, and that's 2-1. We've brought it back, and 40 minutes, like Dessers misses. There's an offside flag, but it gave enough time. It was the offside flag went up really, really late. But it was enough time for us to see there's a wee kind of break for the halfway line. There's a bit of interpassing between Dessers and Cherny. They're getting their groove on. They're getting their groove on. Cherny back again into the box at 41st minute. Into the box, but he delays the pass too much and gets tackled. But it's clear that the substitution has transformed the game. It's all us now. It was the 45th minute, it was this that where Dessers and Cherny are kind of slipping it to each other. 1-2s and stuff like that, and suddenly it's half time, it's 2-1. The game has been totally transformed. Excuse me 1 second, I've still got this cold. That's disgusting, sorry. Second half, there's been no more substitutions, but apparently bollockings were handed out or advice was given. Not much happening, really, for the first kind of 5-6 minutes. Igaman clearly playing at 10 from deep. He's turning, burling round and then nicking in front of Kelly players, gets the ball to Hadji, edge of the box, shot comes across for the kind of right hand side. Hadji's got, he kind of shooting, maybe crossing towards Dessers at the back post, kind of 6 yards out. This goes past the post. Hadji has to claim for the corner. I've no checked. Has to claim quite hard for the corner. The corners, I don't think it was given initially. There's still some talk about whether it was a corner or not, but we get the corner over on the main stand side. Tav over the left hand side to take that corner, and it's a goal. It's Rangers score from a corner. 53rd minute of the game. Rangers equalise, make it 2 each from a corner. Dessers scores from 6 yards between the sticks. Everything, even an Egypt, a kind of tactically illiterate get like myself, watching the sidelines my whole life, had noticed was going wrong of late and has been going on for a while. Cyril Dessers missing some sitters and things like that. Rangers unable to do anything from set pieces, especially corners. It just went right really quickly. Cyril Dessers had to basically stoop to conquer, get down to head the ball, but he's right in the middle of the goals literally on the 6 yard line, and he heads it through the goalkeeper's legs. And that's it. It's 2 each. Bad marking from Kilmarnock, but a great corner from Tav. And is that a reprieve for Barry? Is it an exorcism of the Clement thing? Barry's kind of celebrating angrily rather than pretentiously. He's not up to the fans and what have you. Who will never again be Philippe? I'm saying it. Are we exorcism of Clement or Philippe Clement? I've just noticed that that's what I've been doing. The moment the man was sacked, I stuck up for Clement as long as I possibly could. It was only on Saturday that I thought, no, that's it. I just didn't know that's definitely it. Before he was sacked, I just thought that is it. It's gone. His department of everything that's wrong at Rangers is now becoming toxic. It's now going backwards. He has to go. No matter what else is wrong at the club or what else is up in the air about the club. But it's so bad that I now instantly he's Clement or he's Philippe Clement. He's never going to be Philippe ever again. He's never going to be Big Phil ever again. That's so bad, historically condemned. But aye, that's as we started. We've equalised, dominating the momentum, if not totally dominating the ball. Kilmarnock got a corner straight after we'd scored, but they didn't really do anything with it at all. You're thinking, is it just a kind of another false dawn? Even the kind of this desperate quest to this kind of oxymoronic quest to finish a respectable second. We've come back to 2 each. Are we getting ourselves too excited here? Is it just going to end up being like 3-2 or 4-2 to Kilmarnock, or if it finishes 2 each? Once the excitement's calmed down, it'll be a bit of a downer, and then we'll realise we're 2-0 down and absolutely terrible, and that'll be the main focus of the game. Excuse me, but no. 62nd minute, what a cracking goal! Yilmaz has been trying to make his lefty kind of passes work for him from the right. He's ghosting around 20-yard line and trying to push in towards Hadji, but Hadji can't get to it. So this time he gets it just at the halfway line. He has the space and the time to kind of look up. This is Yilmaz I'm talking about. It's the space and the time to look up and pick his spot, and it's Cyril Dessers, a beautiful run from Cyril Dessers, very deliberate, anticipating what Yilmaz is going to do. He goes in between the two Killie defenders, just as Ridvan is put it there. He's put it over the top. It's on the angle. It's never losing sight of the ball though. Dessers he's watching it coming over the top of him while he's running ahead of the ball, and then he's watching the ball coming over him. He likes to kind of take the bounce, and he just strikes it. First time, I think it's his right foot shot, and first time on the bounce, it goes to the far inside of the net on the opposite side, the Moffat or the Chadwick stand. He goes on about it anyway, and he gets booked. As per Tannadice, he scores the third goal, a spectacular goal in a game where we've been trailing away from home, and that we're going to win. Character, Devo. Character. What's your biggest takeaway from tonight? Character. Devo, we're reasonably comfy, but apart from a hefty little run forward where you kind of nutmegs a guy on the byline, but he can't do anything else. We're not really threatening for the next few minutes of the game. Proper makes another mistake, and he cops a yellow card and covering for it. 74th minute, Killie have got a shot from the edge of the box, which Buckland gets down to his right hand side to parry, and the camera's close up on Barry, raising the eyebrows of McCann and Dodds with his contribution to the substitution chat. Supercillians back in place. We make the change. 78 minutes. Hadji and Igaman are subbed off, and Bajrami and Lawrence are subbed on. We get Bajrami getting into place. Hadji on the left hand side, and Tom Lawrence is going to do that 10 role that he used to do so well at the beginning of this season, and he comes in to take the place of Igaman. You're thinking, is the quality, is the work rate going downhill? Killie are kind of creeping back into it slightly. You're thinking a wee shot or a bolt. I can't remember the last time we scored 3 at Rugby Park at this point in time. I can't remember that. It was that League Cup win under Gerrard, as I said, but I had to work that out. But it's typical of this fixture that it's only enough. We've scored 3 goals at Rugby Park, and it's only enough to have us a goal up with probably about quarter or 20 minutes to go once you include the injury time. So I'm still pretty worried. 83 minutes, Lawrence is booked, and we kind of dust up. It's handbags, the Killie players booked as well. But it is getting tense. If we don't score 4 goals here, post 2012, we don't have in us. Really, if Aberdeen, if Kilmarnock are going to equalise, we're not going to have it in us to actually come back and win this game. So I'm getting a bit uptight, and it's been like that, hasn't it? It's been like that. It's been uptight. It's been grim. It's been. There's been a lot of elation this year as well. It's just been unbelievable. Sorry, folks, this pod's gone on too long, as always, and it's. I just need a day off, and then I'll get them back to being a bit sharper again. But it's because so much is happening. There's so much going on with Rangers just now. If you want to take it back to the beginning of the year, we arrive at the game against Celtic at Ibrox 2nd of January, and we've come into that having. Taking 1 point from our 2 previous away games, St Mirren and Motherwell, and it's awful. Celtic are miles ahead of us, but then we destroy them. Celtic, don't give them a sniff. 3-0. This is absolutely fantastic. We're up high as kites. We're finally Clement's got a win over Celtic. This is what it's all about. And next thing you know, when we go to Easter Road, we're 2-0 up. A bit like how tonight we'd conceded 4 straight goals, 2 against St Mirren and then tonight we've conceded 2 against Kilmarnock straight after without Rangers having scored a goal. We've done the kind of opposite. We scored the 3 goals against. I think we scored 2 goals against Motherwell to bring it back to 2 each. I can't remember how the scoring went at Fir Park, but 3-0 up against Celtic, beat them 3-0. Then we go to Easter Road and we're 2-0 up in the first half. This is fantastic, and then it turns into this thing where we kept taking the lead, but Eggman's got the hat trick, the perfect hat trick, but it ends up 3 each, and then we go to Dens, and it's just never happening at Dens Park. We draw up there again, reminding us of last season. It's just a total down on it. It's like we go to Old Trafford and we're losing our away European records under Clement, but my God, what a performance at what a venue, it's a massive, massive tie, totally intense. 3-0 up against St Johnstone after half an hour, beating Aberdeen 3-0, 3-0 up against St Johnstone before half time and stuff like that. This is great. Beat them 4-0. Our home form's absolutely fantastic. Union St Gilles, we beat them 2-1. We finished 8th. We're in the top part of the Europa League table. All the other results have gone our way. What a high. We've got all these midweeks off now. This is just going to be fantastic. We could maybe pull Celtic back a bit in the Scottish Cup. Queen's Park is just an absolute flipping nightmare. They're the worst Scottish Cup result, technically, of all time for Rangers. In 150 years of playing the Scottish Cup, that's the worst we've ever been through, and it's like, that's a sacking offence. But they come back at that. They win at Tynecastle, not in great form or anything like that. Hearts are the better team, but at least we get the win, and it should be a kind of stumbling performance when you think about it, because it should still be shell-shocked after what happened at Queen's Park, but they've had the week off. And then before you can kind of think about that, we won at Tannadice as well, and it seemed like we're turning round the away form, which was a big problem all season. And then I have to digest the Queen's Park thing and do a special pod about that to get it off my chest, and this stuff has got to be talked about. And then there's this, the CEO comes out, and he finally, a week later, he does, a week too late as far as most people are concerned, he does a 13-minute in-house video when he's laying out his plans for the future, and that Philip Clement's definitely going to be part of that future, as long as there's no more disastrous results. So I'm like, I need to do a podcast about that. That's quite, he's going into detail about the in-house, the ongoing investigation into the consultation that's going on, but we're looking at every aspect of how the club's being run, and Philip Clement's going to be there, especially he's in the Europa League, but he's done really well this season considering everything that's happened to him. We've got to cut him a bit of slack now, so that needs a big massive. And while I'm doing a podcast for that, all these rumours are breaking about American investors, about this massive takeover from the San Francisco 49ers. What? So that's mind blowing. So I end up doing pods about that, and then on the Jersnet preview pods for the St Mirren game, I want to do my own preview pod for the St Mirren game, but also want to do the big thing. I've done like an hour and a half pod about because I'm loving it. The idea, American investment gives me a chance to talk about US sport and franchising and all that kind of stuff, and how I thought that was the way European football was going to go. No, but it's Rangers are going to get this kind of investment that we finally need, and I'm seeing it as, I tell you, we just had to keep buggering on, as Churchill would say, to make sure we end up getting. You're thinking, I couldn't get sleep till the time I did that last pod. It's about 3 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, and they were playing. It's the 3 o'clock kick-off at Ibrox, which is like a 20-minute drive for me on the Saturday. But I could not sleep. I was totally buzzing. My head's all over the place. So I didn't get a lot of sleep. So I hope just have a nice easy day here against St Mirren. I've been telling folk our home form in the league is fantastic. That's what makes the Queen's Park result such an outlier. Our home form, we've only dropped 2 points all season at home in the league. That's another thing that's going for Clement. And then you know what happened? You know what happened on Saturday? I had to go and get a pie and all that at half time just to clean myself, because I'd had a late breakfast because the time I got out of my bed, and I need, this is my lunch I was having, the actual pie and the bovril, and everybody's getting a bit uptight and all that, and I can't be bothered with it. And there's a point, we're 2-0 down, and people are leaving, and there's booing, but most of the people are just giving up and saying cheerio and going away. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking over, and I've been talking in pods, I think, this week about the old dairy, what they called it. It was before my time, the old centenary stand where the Govan stand is. My season ticket used to be in the top of the Govan. It was there for about a decade. And I'm sitting in the main stand now, the oldest part of the ground, and I'm looking over there on Saturday, just your mind's wandering. You've given up in the game. It's one of the worst games of football I've ever seen. Well, for Rangers anyway, St Mirren did really well. And I'm thinking, how high would it be the Derry roof. How high would the roof to the old centenary stand roof? When it used to be, the centenary stand was just benches on top of what had been the terracing. And that's put up for 1973 when we thought that was our centenary. But before that, there's all the old pictures at Ibrox with the Bovril stand they used to call it, or the Oxo. The Oxo was Aston Villa, I think. It was a double-barrelled roof that was up there, old style. It's like the Celtic Jungle. If you remember the old Celtic Jungle, we had that up until we completely rebuilt Ibrox. We centenary stand first of all, put benches in it, and then of course we knocked that bit down first of all in kind of 78ish, I think it went down. 78, 79 when we're rebuilding the three sides at Ibrox. But you'll have seen the picture. It'll have been sent to you probably by Celtic fans of the swastika flying over Ibrox. And the swastika, it's flying, it's on a flagpole, flowing officially over Ibrox. And people, that just sums your club up. There's a bunch of Nazis and all that. And of course, we're the club of the Armed Forces Day and all that. We support the people who actively defeated the Nazis. It was a whole country, whatever creed or religion, whatever you are. The whole of Europe that defeated the Nazis, and quite a few Americans and Canadians and Australians and that as well. But it's this swastika up above the British Armed Forces that we get slagged for supporting as well, for having some respect for people that keep our country safe and that. They thought about, no, a user than that just proves it. No, and what it was a really famous Germany team, like in football terms, but they were owned, but it was Nazi Germany. It was in control. It was October 1936 or 37, I think. Scotland beat them 2-0 anyway. Jimmy Delaney of Celtic get both the goals. It was a Scotland international being played at Ibrox. And the flag it's probably flying at exactly the point I used to sit. Exactly the bit I sat at. Because it's not as big, it's not as tall, obviously, the roof to this old terrace. It was the Derry back in the 30s, the Ibrox Derry. It's not that high up, so it's probably at the midpoint of where the Govan is just now, and I used to sit in the Govan rear, and it's over to that side. It's over towards the Rangers end goal, and it's probably the exact point I used to sit in. That's kind of occurred to me a few times when you see, not all Celtic fans, just kind of wind up Celtic fans that are both sides try to find horrible things that the other club have done, and 9 times out of 10 it's kind of made up. But and I'm sitting on Saturday going, yeah, that's probably what that it was. That Germany team, it was about 6 months later they became known as the Breslau Elf, the Breslau 11. This Breslau is now Poland, it's a different name than that, but they beat Denmark 8-0. And there's Kilmarnock tonight wearing their Hummel kit, but they beat the Danes 8-0, and it's regarded as one of the first great team in German, international football history. And they were all Germans, as far as I know. But it's guys Otto Siffling and Fritz Schepan and that, they played for the Schalke 04 team of the 30s, really famous team when Schalke were winning league titles, the German Championship as it was then. And their Kriesel, the spinning top, that was how that team was known. Would spin you, totally spin the way they were, the way they play, move the ball about in midfield. It was kind of mesmerising for opponents, and a really great reputation. And we're going to become the best German team so far at that. But a few months later, but Scotland did them 2-0. At Ibrox in this international, and I don't know if this thing's been up before. I never noticed it until Saturday when I was just sitting bereft of hope and just wondering what the hell else was going to happen at Rangers. The LCD adverts that go right round the track side on those 3 sides of the stadium opposite the main stand, and right round the balconies of the 3 stands that aren't the main stand, and up it comes Trump Turnberry, and it was an actual Nazi, like Elon Musk doing Nazi salutes. No, they're appealing to actual Nazism. And I'm thinking, that's Trump Turnberry, Turnberry in Ayrshire. And I've been at Trump Tower in New York, Columbus Circle, sitting having a kebab, or a gyro, as they call it there. Just outside Trump Tower, just sitting outside, because I didn't actually know I just knew Donald Trump was one of these wacky American businessmen, didn't really know a lot about him back then. And meeting Turnberry as well. It's a fantastic big hotel stuff, but I didn't know. That's right, Donald Trump's taken that over years ago. And then it was just Trump knew we know what it's all about, and then it was just going right around the whole stadium. I thought, why are we still taking adverts for this And I'm thinking, must be flat. That must be going just at the exact same height as that swastika, in 1936 that was flying above flying above Ibrox. And at that point, there'd be guys in the main stand. It'd be wooden benches, unlike the plastic ones that I'm testing the strength of these days in the main stand. But wooden bench seats, and they'd be looking over that swastika going, is that Hitler? I mean, he's got the right idea, hasn't he? He's got them quite organised, all that, over in Germany. Maybe we should give this Oswald Mosley a go, or whatever was that, Nigel Farage? I don't know who the equivalent is over here just now, but it's like a Lord Haw Haw type or something like that. I was sitting there suddenly going, this is just, life's not going to get any lower than this. How am I going to cheer myself? I'm barely awake anyway, and then Rangers have done this to me. It's up and down, and things are absolutely honking. And I was thinking that tonight. It just seems too good to be true that Rangers are actually going to win this game. 3-2 up, and then in the 85th minute, what a fucking goal! What a goal! A length of the pitch, phenomenal. A counter attack, Uncle Monty, offer him yourself. That was Cyril Dessers. Offer him yourself. He's offering himself at this point. 2-goal Dessers at this point in the game, coming right deep. And again, it's Ridvan Yilmaz. Is it Murray, the fella he's trying to take him on in the wing? Nah, forget it. Ridvan just catches up with him and doesn't even take the ball. He just goes in there and positions himself so that Raskin can come in. No, he just cuts off the run and he basically barely lays it off. That Raskin goes in there, and it's him. It's Dessers, his fellow Belgian-born player, just back to goal, back the deep lying centre forward, comes in here, classic centre forward play, turns the back on the Kilmarnock goal, turns towards his own goal and just give it to me, and he just lays it off, takes the ball from. And I was saying last night how I thought Barry would try something different. He'd try the 4-4-2. Maybe, again, I'm underestimating Barry, saying he would just do something for the sake of showing that it was his team. He was going to change things from the Clement regime. And you can tell by his press conferences, what he was saying to the media tonight, he definitely knew what things were going wrong with Clement's Rangers. I thought he would break up the Raskin and Diamandi partnership, the sitting two in midfield, and he did break them up. He broke them up by putting Cyril Dessers right in between them with one of the layoffs of the century. A lovely ball. It's Raskin to Dessers, and Dessers beautifully anticipating the run from Diamandi. I think it just goes slightly behind Deal, so he's got to kind of trailing leg and pick it up and get the ball back into his path, and he pushes through. Come on, again, we're counter-attacking them again, ripping them to pieces, and he goes up, he pushes, and he just like forensically measures it to the exact moment. He beats the computer that's drawn the lines for the VAR when he lays it off to Nedim Bajrami, one of our substitutes. Should be on the left-hand side, but he's come over to the right-hand side at just the right time, knowing what's happening. And Ideal puts him through on goal, and it's a right-footed shot from a guy who's come from the left, right-footed shot into the near post, and it goes through the goalkeeper's legs, comes off his heel and goes back up to hit the left-hand top corner of the net. He goes towards the crowd. It's 4-2 to Rangers, and Ross McCausland comes on for Cherny in the 87th minute, but it's Penny Arcade till the end. They're gaslighting us, papering all over the cracks. Well, that's what we're needing. This club needs a structural engineer, and it's going to take a while to find one, be it whoever it's going to be that's going to come in as sporting director and a new manager and what have you. We need a structural engineer in these massive cracks. But in the meantime, we don't want to sit looking at these ugly cracks. Get somebody in to paper over them. And at this point in time, Barry Ferguson has done that. 6 minutes of injury time. That's enough for Kelly, I'm thinking. 6 minutes, he could probably score 2 goals in injury time. So let's not have both teams coming back from 2 goals down in this game. The entire media wants Barry's Rangers to be kind of pure mad mental. Sutton didn't call it Bazball the second the game kicked off because through affection or jocularity, he only deals in Schadenfreude and characterising all that kind of toxic side of the tabloid focus, the tabloid angle on football. But it was hilarious in the 94th minute when there was a guy, Cameron, the fella for Kilmarnock, he'd just come on as a substitute, and he's going on the right hand side, and he should really have checked back. He'd time to check back and play in a teammate for a proper strike on goal, but he tries to shoot for this impossible angle, gets straight out, and Sutton's like, sub him back off. Okay, he's just having a laugh there. No, he's totally raging. He's absolutely raging. But it's not about Chris Sutton, it's about Ian Crocker giving it different manager, same old Rangers. Remember that? That's one of those foot through the telly, shut your fucking mouth, you're shouting to somebody who can't hear you and you're paying to listen to him moments when we went 2-0 down. Different manager, same old Rangers. Is that right? Aye, is that right? It's 63% possession. 63% possession, 4 yellow cards for the fight, 14 shots on target. 14 shots on goal, 7 of them on target, an XG of 1.96, yet we've scored 4 goals. Rangers having total, 2/3 possession and getting 4 goals. The opposite of what they were doing under Philippe Clement. We don't want the ball under Philippe Clement, so character. Tav's in the tunnel getting interviewed. Compete. That's what we're told to do. Compete. We've got to compete. Cyril's getting interviewed right next to him before he receives the Man of the Match award from Tav. You've got to match their intensity. And you get that goal, then you feel like we did this last year. We did it, and it was almost a year. It's a year to tomorrow, a year to Thursday, that we went to Kilmarnock under Clement to stay top of the league, having gone a goal down, coming back to win 2-1. You've done that before here, and you feel like, hey, we're going to get them today. We're going to get them. We're going to get these guys. He's so chilled out, man. That sounds horrifically racist. Every time you talk about a black guy being chilled out, he's totally chillaxed. He's so laid back, but he was, and it was brilliant. Proper character. Barry, they're interviewing Barry, and I'm talking about Penny Arcade getting belted out, and he was talking about when it looked like Kilmarnock were going to go 3-0 up. One of their players was kind of through on goal and had a shot that went over the bar. That's when the penny dropped for the players on the park, and he said they showed heart and desire, and that's what's been missing for the last few months. Character Davo. Barry's, I like to eat I love chicken. I talk about how much I love chicken. I love a roast chicken. I love a whole rotisserie chicken on a Saturday. But like a Saturday there, when I've already had a big pie at half time at the fit, but I don't really need the rotisserie chicken. But when I get in there and I sit there and I have the first bite, the taste takes over, and it's just mechanical. There's no time to waste. It's just getting done. It needs to get eaten. I will finish the entire chicken. That's what Barry's like with it. All this kind of stuff about, are you the man for the job? Should you be doing this, Barry? You've not been enjoying. You've not been wanting to do any coaching for the last 3 years. You're doing this ambassadorial role. Oh, it's hectic. It's mad. As soon as he's not just on it, he's in it. He's back in the role of just wanting Rangers to win, of him having an active part in Rangers winning, and he's back to being Barry, the guy who's obsessed with winning. Different manager, same old Rangers? I don't think so. And Parag Marat, the Leeds chairman and the man behind the 49ers Enterprises, it was on a Financial Times podcast. It was kind of getting clipped up by Reporting Scotland just before I started watching the Sky coverage of the game tonight. And he's talking about his passion for Leeds United, that he couldn't believe how much he'd fall in love with Leeds because of their passion and the passion of their fans and the history. And when he was asked directly about the Rangers rumours, he was careful after confirming that he couldn't comment on rumours in a way that made it sound like because we're in the middle of legally tying up control of Rangers. He was careful to point out that we are looking at other jobs. We're looking at we are actively right now. We're looking at other opportunities to have clubs, to take on another club with, as he put it, the right bones, the right history of success, the right potential for growth. And his kind of model of club ownership didn't feature feeder clubs as far as he was concerned. There wasn't a hierarchy of clubs. They all had to be able to kind of stand alone. No one stands alone like us, Parag. No one likes us, in fact, and we don't care. Well, we do really, but we don't care. But if you think there's bones, history, and potential growth at Leeds United, lovely club Leeds, proud club. I do respect Leeds United, but they're that kind of holiday fling you have when you're maybe late teens, early 20s, that you'll think back on for a few months and remember maybe once or twice every year. But us, Rangers, Glasgow Rangers FC, you don't even realise how much you need us, Parag Marath. You don't even want to acknowledge it, really. You do realise that you're starting to feel it in your bones, never mind about our bones. You're starting to feel it because you've a wee sniff Rangers there, and it's non plus ultra, the sine qua non. You might love Leeds, Parag, but you my wife now, Dave. Give into it, boy. Go with it. It's like a tide. Give into it, Parag. Go with it. It's society's problem, not ours. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do now? That's it. It's not over. The traumas aren't over. Barry's it's just a temporary thing, and it could all go wrong on Saturday. There's as Barry himself was saying, the games are coming thick and fast. But we deserve a break. You deserve a break from my patter. You deserve a break from my continual ranting. I'm sorry all the pods have been so long, but it's been epic stuff that's been happening. Epically good, epically bad. It's been going on. I got myself. What did I do on Saturday for a start? I did the podcast, did the post-match reaction pod after the game. I don't know what you did after that absolute shocker of a performance. But I went along to Morrison's kind of half-heartedly. I was struggling, as I say, I wasn't in the mood for the roast chicken, but you got to do it. And by the time I'd done the pod and all that, and I was doing everything really slowly because I just couldn't be bored facing life. I was scared about going into Morrison's. Maybe there'd be somebody there with a Celtic scarf on. Maybe there was the Celtic fans that would be talking loud or something, and you just feel compelled to say. So I don't know. It's just awful. So I'd got myself, see behind me the Blue Moons. I got myself a box of Blue Moons. I've only had them. I usually get pints of Blue Moon. There's a particular couple of pubs in Glasgow you can get it, and absolutely brilliant, blow your brains out stuff. It's just 5.4%, but it's not exactly Polish, but it's good. And that's the thing. It's Blue Moon, like it's Belgian. It's Belgian style kind of wheat beer. It's not actually Belgian. It's like a fake Belgian, like a Belgian that's let you down. You're thinking it's a genuine Belgian, but it's a letdown. It's that kind of beer. And I got 2 Paulaners as well, and I got the Golden Wonder 6-pack, cheese and onion. And my heart really wasn't in it, but I got I thought I'd try something different. I got the McCoy's. I was telling you, but I usually just go for the flame grilled, but I went for the flame grilled steak, the ridge cut, the 6-pack. I went for the variety 6-pack, and I got you get 2 the flame grilled steak ones, 2 of the is it Thai chicken, something Thai chicken, and spicy prawn, sizzling prawn, because I thought I need to try something different. Just need to try something different. It turned out Rangers did, but I'm looking at I had a couple of I had the 2 Paulaners because they're genuine German, but I had the two of the 4 Blue Moons. There's 2 still there. I'm going to have them in the Belgian Whites. They're called Belgian Whites, and Blue Moon, of course, is the Manchester City. The Manchester City song Blue Moon, and they sing it at the City of Manchester Stadium, where I was on the 14th of May 2008. Rangers were being led down the tunnel. The only European final I have been at where Rangers are playing in. I didn't get to Seville. And they were led down that tunnel by Captain Barry Ferguson. And Barry Ferguson was doing what had to be done after Celtic 5 years earlier had got to the final of the UEFA Cup as well. And at that point in time, we won the league. We won the treble that season, captained by Barry Ferguson, and the league was won on the last day of the season. And what helped us win it, as we were beaten Dunfermline 6-1, was the fact that Celtic had only been able to beat Kilmarnock 4-0. 4 goals at Rugby Park had helped Barry be a winner. And the Blue Moons, I'm looking at the tins, and of course they're made in Burton-on-Trent. Say for what were hop yards meant, why was Burton built on Trent? The A.E. Houseman poem, telling us this stupid stuff. It's a great point, and I've quoted it a few times doing pods this season, because it's the line, "I will friend you if I may in the dark and cloudy day." It's the dark and lonely day when things are going really wrong for you. That's when when James Tavernier steps up for us when things are going really bad. That's when these are the guys that I really appreciate, and I thought that the Blue Moons are quite appropriate for the way this season, and Barry has stepped up to friend us in that dark day and lead us on. Lead us on. I'm going to have the remaining 2 Blue Moons, but I'm going to have them in Friday. I'm going to have them on Friday after I've done my preview pod for the Motherwell game, because I'm back at Ibrox 3:00 on a Saturday, and I'm just hoping that's everything has settled down now. We're going to get the takeover's going to happen in June or whatever like that. But Barry has got himself in situ, and eventually he's got off to the perfect start. And I think we all deserve to have a more relaxed go. I'm not going to be up to 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning this time doing podcasts about the details of a massive takeover, stuff like that. It's just Rangers are back. They've got a new management team. The cracking win tonight. let's just chill out and get that rest we all deserve. And to that end, folks, what I'm going to do. It's time we're all in our bed, I think, and just chilling out. And I'll get that. See, I'll get into the beers and that on Friday, get a few crisps and chill out properly. But in the meantime, I'm going to turn away from, because this again, I've not had a chance with all these pods to actually sort out the technical problems I'm having with my recording my phone. I've got rid of a few things that were on it that I think have been causing the problem, but still, at this point in time, I know my mouth will be completely out of sync with the noises coming out of it. So that's irritating. You've suffered enough irritation. I'm just going to take the camera and I'm going to turn it away. I'm going to there's just these curtains here. I'm going to just focus on these curtains, but you can still listen to me as I'm saying, everybody, just chill. It's been a hell of a month. A chaotic week from Patrick Stewart's backing of the manager last Wednesday afternoon. That was just 7 days ago. To the takeover talk that started that night, to St Mirren on Saturday, to the sacking of the manager on the Sunday, to the appointment of Barry and his team on the Monday, to the press conference, Barry's first press conference with the media on Tuesday, to this game tonight. It's been up, it's been down, it's been up, it's been down, and it's been stress of one form or another. Excitement, bickering, grief, rage, boredom, disappointment, bewilderment, sentimentality, worry, and more stress. I think it's been a heck of a week. It's been a hell of a month, and so far the calendar year 2025, I know it's not much like a roller coaster. It's not an emotional roller coaster. It's more like a roller coaster at a fun fair that hasn't had a health and safety inspection for about 10 years. And you notice there's no kind of seatbelt, no the kind of guardrail thing that they pull down on you when you're on the roller coaster. That's not working, and it's not just that. You're going to have to go on that roller coaster and stand up. It's been that kind of year so far. So let's all just take 2 days and 3 nights of well-earned rest. Let's get on the back of this result to decompress, not just feel the excitement. We need to get ourselves really excited. And that's the way to do it. A comeback win, 4 straight cracking goals from Rangers. Let's just kind of shout and cheer and get all the stress out of our system. But let's get on the back of this result now and decompress. Let's lie back, take deep breaths, close our eyes, and gently remind ourselves as we drift off to sleep that Philippe Clement actually won his last 2 away games anyway, so there really wasn't any need to sack him as far as I'm concerned. And this result tonight just proves nothing about Barry. He's only doing what Philippe Clement was doing anyway. I mean, they're gaslighting us. When you think about it, they're actually gaslighting us. When are they going to do something about this? Just paper over the cracks. Night, guys. Love you.